want you all to know that we are fighting the fake news. It's fake, phony, fake. A few days ago, I called the fake news the enemy of the people, and they are. They are the enemy of the people. Underestimate the people. Never. I don't think it'll ever happen again.
Where we go one, we go all. Hey guys, welcome to the Matrixxx Groove hour. It is, or show, because it's usually more than an hour. It's 1:04 p.m. on the East Coast, and it is June 11th, 2019, and I want to bring on my co-host and partner in justice, if you will, Mr. Shady Groove. Shady, welcome.
Thank you everyone for joining us. Wow, it's June 11th already, huh? Man, oh man, this is pretty amazing what we're seeing happen out there, Matrixxx. And thanks so much everybody for joining us, and thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Let's take apart some of this stuff today. This is moving quickly, bud.
Oh my gosh, we've got a lot of cool stuff happening. Antitrust is the word
Yes,
in the mainstream media. So as you guys know, we have been working with this stuff for a long time. You guys out there know, Anons know, JT Wild, Donna knows, Ams Dave knows, Pseudonym knows, Doxymom knows, Thumper Rose. Hey, don't you? So it's amazing how it's, we've come a long way with these Q posts. And, I just want to go ahead and, let's bring my Windows capture up here for everybody to see. Let me get this off here. Let me get this off here. Okay, there we go. So this is the Windows capture, and I do have to re-like this video one more time, Shady. There we go.
Every single time. We show them every day, don't we?
Every day. People are like, you just go in there and unlike it, so you have to re-like it.
No, we don't.
That's not the case. I don't have time for that crap.
Well, Twitter has somebody that does that.
Twitter certainly has some time about that, for sure. And really quick, I just want to go ahead and just play this clip real quick because, we got to keep it in the forefront, guys. Here we go. Ready?
And I think Q's purpose is to support our president and expose these lies, the corruption, the evil, the history that we have been hidden from. Sheep no more, right?
Be honest. It's a blast.
We have an army of digital soldiers.
I like this part, the pacer part. This is not a name that is well known.
The post that we're referenced to is 714, and it says, mess with the best, die like the rest. 2 highly classified clown ops exposed, 44 remaining wizards and warlocks. Save the best for last. P in a kill box. It's in a kill box. That means it's accentuated. So then, people like think, oh my gosh, is it the Pope? Is it Pence? Is it Pindar? We've got a lot of different theories that swooped out of that. Anon said P equals Pope. And then Q responded, Pope, all spelled out in the kill box, will be having a terrible May. Those who backed him will be pushed into the light, dark to light, truth, Q. That basically prompted us to do a little digging. Somebody mentioned the name Pesur, and believe it or not, the first reference of Pesur that I found was actually on the CIA website. Why would that be? Well, Q says, hidden in plain sight. They are not afraid of you. Essentially, we found that in 1870s, the Pesurs bought the Vatican through Parisian bankers via the Rothschilds. So the Rothschilds actually are worker bees for the Pesurs. This family is in the top 13 bloodlines under the Merovingian tag. So Marie Antoinette was beheaded, and she sent over her family to the United States, or actually America at that time. And they came into America and they started buying up all the railroad companies. We found out that the 3 railroad companies from the Pesurs are the parent to our Federal Reserve System.
So just wanted to kind of give you a quick, repeat of that. That was when Shady and I was on, Caravan to Midnight, and we were talking about the Pesurs. And really, we're talking about basically the Pesurs today, which is my second thread, Shady. It's the Trust the Plan thread. And we're talking about happy hunting and antitrust. And it's funny because I can't go down and show you everything. Let me just go ahead and refresh this, guys. But Twitter does this to me a lot. This is part of the censorship, guys. And I don't know if you guys experience this as well. You can't go down further on your posts. You ever notice that? Shady, have you ever noticed that?
Yes. Yeah, it does it to me. It stops me too. It doesn't actually do that on the phone as much as it does in Windows, but in Windows, it's really bad for stopping it.
Yep, it does that to me too. So let's just go ahead and do this then. We're going to go ahead and go to, I always wait to see how the movie plays out. This is, something that I was speaking about with a friend, and, she basically kind of said, it's not the actors that make the movie good. I mean, I've seen movies that had bad actors before, right? I mean, the crappy movies that had bad actors. I mean, I think we've all seen that. So what makes a movie good? Q asks us that, and I was pondering on that. This is deep thoughts within the Matrix. So actors, I mean, isn't cinema all about storytelling and pretty much everything put into film, dialogues, props, lighting, a song, even an edit or communicate something to the audience, right? And Q in 461 does ask us that. He says, what makes a movie good? Great actors? Q. And it's a question. And I'm like, well, actors can make a movie good, Shady, right? But the ultimate thing about a good movie is the storyline, the characters,
the story,
memorable characters, and remember, you guys are watching a movie. And in fact, each and every one of you following Q and our president, we have front row seats. And this is, memorable characters, originality, interesting visuals, not just booms, interesting dialogue, interesting audio, release the tapes. There's audio that needs to be released. Relatable story, good pacing, good writing, protag and antag. We have protagonists and antagonists. Interesting conflict. Wow, there's a lot of interesting conflict with, Q and MAGA and Q and, Dems and Q. There's interesting conflict going on. But it makes you think. It blows your mind. And that's what's happening, in my opinion, with all of this stuff, guys. I mean, what do you guys think out there in YouTube?
Well, you're not, for me, I'm not able to pay attention to pretty much any other type of entertainment. Like there's no movies. I'm not interested in reading a book right now. Only thing I'm interested in is this information. And it's been like this for over a year. I'm not interested in what are the other conspiracy people out there are saying. I really don't care. I like us working together with these great patriots here. digging into this information that we've been going over for the last year and a half. That's what is interesting to me, and that's what's making sense on my timeline. You know, like all this other stuff, we've sort of been able to push it away, including other other so-called experts in the field.
Yeah, and Kimmy Q says we need some Q. You know, if I look at Q right now, we've got
there's like 3,800 drops.
3,349 drops to be specific. And, you know, Q says that we have it all. So maybe we should be looking at Q posts. And that's what this show does. And that's why Kimmy's here. God bless you, Kimmy. We love you. And this is not to point you out in any bad way. It's just we've got them. We've got it all. You know, Q even says that. Q has not posted in 16 days, 0 hours, 10 minutes, and 16 seconds. Okay, so this is quite a large blackout. Go ahead.
It is. That is true. But if we kind of take that out of the conversation for a second and we plug in President tweets, then look at how many, Matrixx, you and I in the last 2 weeks, look at how many times the president tweets lined up directly with Q posts. We're going to go into some of that here in a few minutes again, when it happened yesterday or the day before too. So you guys, you know, recognize that the president, what he's doing is he's plugging you into the Q post. We're not, you know, Q has said, oh, we've got it all. You have more than you know. The amount of information that we have may be just being directed backwards from here, right? We're going to be directed back to the information from Q or from POTUS. And that I think is what we all should be doing. And anyone out there that's interested in doing this should start to speak up and talk, because we have to spread this fast once it gets going, once this happens.
And now I want to, you know, just say, Kimmy Q, I'm with you though, man. I mean, I would love Q to post tomorrow. Would be 17 days, as some people out there in chat have said. That's interesting, right? And also, Make Mine Texas, I would just like Q to call home and say hi. You know, agree, totally agree. But we need to also realize that we have it all, guys. We have everything that we need in these posts. There are 3,349 posts, guys. Have we decoded every single one of them, do you think? Do you think there's future proves past? Because remember, the news unlocks the past, right? The news, it's the map. News unlocks the future. So we need to make sure that we're looking at the news, right? And checking stuff out. Because we are watching a movie, a well-scripted movie, I might add, as Q added. Okay,
and it's a little hard to interpret it like that, and I get that. You know, we're you know, it's real life events, but really, you know, you are seeing something happen in front of you that is spectacular in the background. It doesn't look spectacular in the front view from where you're seeing it through your lens of the mainstream media. But what is going on in the background with Europe and with all these other countries, with the, you know, Five Eyes, Italy, working with the U.S. now in these investigations, Durham, his investigation, he has a staff. He is literally looking into every single aspect of this stuff in the background. It's not, the media is not going to tell you this stuff. Even the conservative media that are out there have X amount of compromise nature to them. They're not telling you the truth. The old guard runs deep. They want the game to continue under a Republican or a Democrat flag.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
We're trying to get rid of that. We're trying to say there is no difference. They all work together behind the scenes. Let's see things for what they are. Let's not view politicians like they're stupid. Let's view politicians like they're doing exactly what they want to do to you. And then when you see your world, it makes a lot more sense.
And I'd like to point out that it's not just Democrat. It is also the Republican.
Correct. That's right.
Even before Q, I told Mama Matrixxx, my mom, when she thought I was a conspiracy theorist, but, you know, I was able to break through every now and again. And I basically said to her, you know, the Democrats are the communists. They want communism. And the Republicans, you know, rhinos, right? They want socialism. Which way do you want to go? They don't care. So they own both horses in the race, and they say, okay, you want communism or you want socialism? Which way? And, you know, for me, if I was to have the choice between the two, I would choose socialism because, you know, a lot less people were murdered under socialism than communism. I mean, you know, and that's just using logic and facts. But I don't want any of that. I don't want either of that, Shady. I want sovereignty.
Nope.
I want my country.
Right, and then recognize that really is it. All boils down, and we've been dissecting this on the Q Lounge, but it all boils down to the circle coming back around to the same spot: a neocon, a neoliberal, same. Okay, but they have to create this ebb and flow. So you see, so the people that don't agree see this, and then the people that do agree see this, and the people that don't agree see this, or for instance, in the 90s during Clinton, I was paying more attention to the non-liberal news, and then during the Bush administration, you're paying attention more to the Democrat side, and it was like this push and pull. And now we have the president there, and I mean, if you're watching what they're doing, Matrixxx, man, it's like every day they're talking about how we've got to get these powers away from the president. Have you noticed this? Like, we spent the last 30 years learning that the executive can do everything. We need to shove all the power to the executive branch. And now all of a sudden we wait, no. Donald Trump is in there. We don't want him to be able to do this. He can't levy tariffs. He can't do this. He can't do that. We got to do judges. We have to resist all of this stuff. It's very interesting. When you're logical, you can easily see the movie, and we are watching a movie.
Right, absolutely. And I want to say, Southpaws, sounds like you have a birthday. Happy birthday. Boom. That'll be for you today. That's for Southpaws. Happy birthday to you, Southpaw. And anybody else that's having a birthday, I hope you have a birthday boom today. All right, every day. Now, we're talking about, future unlocks past just a second ago, right, Shady?
Yep.
And there's an article in the Beltway report today that says, we tracked Obama's movements for a month, and based on his meetings, they're afraid that he's, running a shadow government, per se. Now, why did Hussein travel ahead of POTUS? Quote, Trump would not be in office for long, suggesting he would be out in a year. Reread Crumb's Future Unlocks Past. And now in this, I posted, these are all John Kerry posts, and these are all Hussein posts to look at, okay? Again, when we see something, we go ahead and look at it, right? That's what I want to, that's what I want open thinkers and free thinkers to start doing is, researching for yourself, because the truth is learned. It's never, ever, ever told, okay?
Right, so, until you want to know.
Until you want to know. The truth is for you to know. Exactly correct. So on June 7, 2019, Jack Crane from the Beltway Report we tracked Obama's movements for over a month, and based on his meetings, it's time to question whether he's running a shadow government. They started tracking Hussein's movements over 4 months ago, and frankly, I'm a bit worried with what we found. Most Americans have not had the time nor the inclination to make a deep dive into how many federal agencies and employees were involved in the attempted coup of Donald Trump. Even fewer have considered the ramifications of what such a widespread interagency operation may mean to their constitutional protections. And that's RD, independent, whatever you want to label yourself, your constitutional protections. They should care because our republic has been gravely imperiled by these deep state actors. Both parties, guys, both parties. And I really need to make sure that we stress that, because we're not stressing it enough. We're still in that false paradigm, that false left-right paradigm, and we need to get out of it, because the left and the right, the red and the blue, there's swamp on both sides, okay? And Q has said that.
The Steelers and the Packers are the same team.
Right.
Budweiser and Bud Light is the same beer.
Right, exactly. If they can get away with this level of corruption with the intent to incriminate a president, what chance does the ordinary citizen have once they're targeted? Call it the shadow government, the deep state, the permanent bureaucracy. It all amounts to the same thing. We can call it some other things too, as well as, what we're doing in our research, right? A group to indeterminate size. It's a group of, we don't know the size. I think it's about 6,000 people, but that's neither here nor there. And virtually irremovable because of laws that protect their employment. And they make decisions about policy, who gets elected, Bilderberg Group, to, implement those policies on you, not you. So we don't have control of our government. And this is what the Q movement and Donald Trump seems to be doing with actions, not just words, to be giving the government back to we, the people. Okay.
And what that looks like maybe would be the idea that we actually get asked what we want our representatives to do, and then they have to do what we ask because we can communicate per every device that we're all walking around with. I mean, we can communicate now what we want politicians to do. That is the accountability that I think Matrixx and I are hoping that, Q and POTUS have in mind here, because that would fix a lot of stuff, bud.
And Shady did not mean to upset any sports fans, the Steelers or the Packer fans, just so you know.
I didn't, but there's still the same.
Thank you for spreading the love, Shady and Matrixxx.
Same side.
And that's LTCQ, Patriot. Thank you for spreading
that was the
love.
first two teams I thought about.
Yeah, it was just the first two teams, guys. He was just making a generalization. Go Steelers, go Packers. All right, we're not here to diss anybody's favorite team. German Chancellor Angelo. So those who have been paying attention have awakened to learn that we no longer have a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, which with our founding fathers envisioned. I mean, this sounds like an article, a mainstream article about Q, guys. That's why I'm pointing this out. That's why I think this is a very interesting article from the Beltway Report, okay? So we raised these questions after reading a report from WRAL.com. The German Chancellor Angela Merkel, Chancellor, has received former U.S. Barack Obama at her office in Berlin for a meeting characterized by German officials as routine private encounter with a former international peer. Merkel's spokesman, Stefan Siebert, went out of his way to emphasize that the chancellor has met repeatedly with ex-heads of state of government and, quote, with whom she worked together closely and well for a time, end quote. She would be demanding to know what was discussed during those private time together. That's what we should be doing, guys. Siebert continued to stress that the meeting had no implications for current German-U.S. relations. Yeah, no, right, Shady? I'm sure they are not, saying anything. No.
Absolutely not.
No. When the spokesman asked whether Merkel and Obama were sending a signal to President Donald Trump, Siebert fired back, "I would firmly reject that impression." Siebert doth deny too strongly. This is a very well written article, guys. So recall this.
Doth do protest too much.
Yes, exactly. Those who scream the loudest, right? What's Barack up to? Obama to jet into Paris for secret talks with Emmanuel Macron. That meeting took place in 2017 November, and the Beltway exclusive, Deep State's panic bubbles over U.S. attorney is uncovering all the dirt, asking all the right questions. Several months earlier, in April, only 3 months after President Trump was inaugurated, Politico reported former President Barack Obama gently waded back in international policies on Thursday, talking by phone with French presidential candidate Emmanuel Macron. A source familiar said that Macron had sought the call. He was hoping to preserve France's pro-European Union bent, in line with Obama's vision of global politics and opposed to the President Donald Trump's. So I wanted to really just point out this article. Also we've got Kerry meeting with Iran's leaders. Were not isolated incidents, but part of a formal lobbying campaign that included phone calls with the European Union leaders and meetings with the presidents of Germany, France, in which the Globe reports he discussed, quote, the details of sanctions and regional nuclear threats in both French and English. And there's Jason Osborne. So John Kerry left a meeting at l'Avenue Paris with 3 Iranians. A friend was sitting next to their table and heard JK blasting real Donald Trump. The Iranians had 5-person security detail and left in diplomatic vehicles. Is he FARA registered? Very interesting. There he goes right there. Yeah, there he goes. Very interesting article. There's a 4-long alliance between Obama administration and the deep state to destroy his political opponent. And remember, we know it's a 16-year plan, right? The deep state's political opponents, as well as why would we put anything beyond him and his minions if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, Shady?
It might be a duck.
It might be a duck. So
there's a good possibility.
Yeah, very, very, very good. So very good article. And again, we looked at the Q post. Why did Hussein travel ahead of POTUS? Trump would not be in office for long. This is what they're telling people. Reread Crumb's Future Unlocks Past. So this could be part of a Future Unlocks Pasts. Right.
And I think they're still doing it, Matrixx. I think they're still trying to convince the government in China and Iran and other places, even the EU, that Donald Trump will not win in 2020. I mean, that they are touting this to all of them in the background. And meanwhile, you're watching the president put ultimate pressure on every actor: Mexico, China, Iran, North Korea. He's putting ultimate pressure on each of those. And we're seeing fake story after fake story come out of this. You remember even last week we had the story come out about Kim Jong-un killing some of his representatives. And then day before yesterday, a picture of one of the people they said that he killed last week materialized of the person who delivered the letter to the president. So,
right.
It moves and counter moves in a major way here to expose them and articles like this. Look, this is journalism here. What you just saw was journalism.
Right. That's almost like that's almost like
Q. It's kind of like off-putting.
Right. Exactly. So, U.S. makes a formal extradition request to Britain for Julian Assange. Did you see that? Mm-hmm. This is Illuminated Patriots, Phygital Soldiers. I think he meant digital, but I mean Q Army. I don't use digital soldiers. I like Q Army better. And this is the Washington Examiner right here. U.S. makes formal extradition request to Britain for Julian Assange. Very amazing. We've got that. This is the extradition treaty. I mean, some really good links here. This is the FAS.org. If you actually want to look at the extradition treaty and dig into that, you certainly can. All right, and I think you're going to have to turn him over. I'm almost certain that the position that he's in relation to the position that Britain is in per the intelligence leaks and cooperation against the Trump administration, they've kind of got him over a barrel here. They're going to have to probably give him up without a lot of hesitation or melee with it. So I'm going to look up Q post with Assange. There he is. So what's up with Assange? Do you remember that our enemies are also monitoring this board? See above, reflect, use logic. Something good is happening with JA, guys. And also, that's what we would want to do too, is we would want to go search for words JA. Again, is JA stateside? No. Q. Now here's the Vault 7, March 7/3/7/2017. Track last JA offline cause. Q. Free JA. This is right here, JA, June ETA. How Comey interviewed to kill WikiLeaks immunity deal. And this was a year Delta, Shady, basically, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
June ETA. So what month is it today, Shady?
Today is June.
Are we in June?
Yes, we're in June, and we're actually a year ago was right around the summit that occurred in Singapore.
Yes, but June and Assange, Shady.
Well, I know, I understand, but I'm just saying it's like, going back and looking at the stuff there was a lot of stuff connected between
Vault 7.
The Vault 7 and the president going last year, and this time, relevant was a lot of Julian Assange information that was being aggregated on the Chan boards and a lot of chatter, and it's kind of seeming relevant more today than a year ago.
So maybe I'm just a little more freaked out that we just saw June ETA for Julian Assange, man. Coincidence? JA in the news a lot
right
lately,
now,
out of nowhere, crisis mode. Q. I'm just really freaked that he's in there right now, dude. Now look at this. This is that's a year Delta, guys. 1708. When did No Name travel to the UK? What if the UK government worked hand in hand with the Hussein administration to sabotage the 2016 election? Data collection, voice, video, bugging, creation of fake intel dossier using ex-spy, co-sponsor insurance policy regarding POTUS election. PS, LP, No Name, Clapper, Brennan, Rice, LL, HRC, BC, Hussein, 22 more. What if intel masked penetrations to frame Russia? CrowdStrike, servers, SR, Seth Rich. Julian Assange, why does the UK government definitely want Julian Assange? Think source files, the more you know. Q, this is why. Look at this right here.
They want him.
A year Delta, server of JA equals truth exposed SR. 1 year Delta on 6/28, Shady.
Yep. they want to be able to stop it. Like, look at what they would be what if they could get his information, they could prevent him from sharing the information with our law enforcement that they worked with these people to subvert the election, to go against the president.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing how much information this guy has. People aren't aware of what he really has and how important he really is.
You guys better run and go see Gumbo on Fox News. Don't watch this show. I'm recording Fox News right now, so I can go check it out later. But Gumbo was with the dog stuff. You know, it's very interesting. iPot's been doing some good stuff on that. Go check out iPot's videos on the dog stuff. It's absolutely amazing.
It is interesting, man.
That's why we haven't really been covering, because we got other people covering it, and we support iPod 110%. All right, so that's some things that we want to do. Answer Q regarding SR June, JA. Now, coincidence. Guys, look at this. SR June, and it's June. It's June, a year delta June.
Go ahead and grab that article right there where you just were. In that, and just drop that article to them out there too, because that one connects right there. Yep, that one connects. Oh, is it not there now?
Let me just see. There might be an issue with the link. Let me just double check it. Hang on 1 second, right here.
I was thinking that might be it might not be the same one. Oh no, that's it.
There you go.
This is because this is the whole setup. You guys are getting ready to see the setup. It's all going to come out in public for everyone, an organic exposure that isn't the president sending out a newsletter. It's going to be aggregated in the conversation, and people are going to be like, "What?"
That's
and
right.
As soon as we attain enough understanding, you got to realize Fox News or conservative news outside of the United States of America is very, very limited and censored. It doesn't, like you can't watch the Fox News feed from Europe without a lot of extra effort, because they don't want people to see this viewpoint. They don't want people to see the viewpoint of a sovereign nationalist mindset, of protective of country, of excited about a country. Remember, they don't want any country to be better or worse than any other countries. The globalists want a level playing field. Socialism means that everybody has an equal amount of nothing. So everybody has the level this playing field, and that's not. And America is about excellence. We are about number one. That's what we all thought when we were younger, and that has been grossly eroded. And the president is bringing it back, and that is why they're starting to panic, because if the world sees excellence, then they'll try for excellence, which means that they will stand up for sovereignty and each other as their brothers and country.
So let's talk about the helicopter crash, Shady. We got Sidley,
this is crazy.
Sidley Austin, happy hunting, which means antitrust, guys. Remember,
correct.
Happy hunting is antitrust. So Sidley Austin, SAB and W, and that's Burkett and Woods, right? So that's also huge. They were hit directly on 53 to 49 floors. Employees and vital records, I misspelled that, survived 9/11 and happy hunting. So this is both firms and tenants in the building struck by helicopter Monday. Sidley Austin has 414 attorneys in New York, while Wilkie has about 366 in that particular building. Here's Michelle Obama, Sidley Austin years. Here she is. Interesting, huh? So interesting stuff here. Then we've got the disaster plan in action. How a law firm in the World Trade Center survived 9/11 with vital records and employees intact.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes, it's very interesting.
Just happened to have had those protected, huh?
600 employees all saved and intact, along with their vital records.
None of them actually were in the building or died that day.
And here is from the Trust the Plan thread: Trust Busters, Antitrust, Sidley. They have an antitrust competition law site focus, so they do deal with antitrust. Could they be protecting the illegal scams and the bloodlines, guys, right? So very interesting stuff, and I don't know if anybody else is talking about that. I saw iPot did something on it, but I haven't seen iPot today. I will go check them out. This is a breaking video that shows the helicopter flying erratically. also in controlled airspace. So that's very interesting. If you look at the beginning, you know, he kind of dipped down very fast. That could be because he was the engine could have had failure. He could have had some issues. We don't know. He is an ex-fire department. Right? So look here. See how it goes. Woo! But a lot of times when an engine might go, although I did hear the engine, unless that's the boat that the person's on or wherever that person's on. No, he's just
it did divert off of its normal course. It was supposed to, you're not supposed to fly over the city whenever there's a marine layer or a fog layer like that. So there were restrictions that that helicopter was on its way to a different location, diverted, and ended up on the top of the Sidley Austin building in downtown New York.
Right, exactly. Let's do that one more time. There you go. Maybe that is a little bit bigger for you guys. All right, so that's that. And then let's go back to my thread here because, you know, I just basically just adding the information as it goes. This is the fire FDNY pictures. This is images from the scene of yesterday's, but this was, you know, yesterday. Helicopter crash at 787 7th Avenue in Manhattan. Interesting pictures here.
Yeah. Very interesting pictures, man. I don't know. I don't want to say too much about my thoughts on that, but that to me just does not look like enough debris for a helicopter.
Well, I mean, it's pretty much, you know, all right in there. You know, there is, you know, there's the top. There's, you know, I do see the top. There's the back part of it, you know. I mean, I'm not saying anything, guys, you know, as far as anything yet because it's too early to tell in my opinion. But what Shady's talking about here, here's another little area here of the...
Maybe that's where the blades ended up.
Yeah. Well, I saw the blades in the other picture here.
No.
See right there? Laying across the pipes. And they're kind of crooked. See that? Those are the blades. At least one set. See right where the two fire department... See where the pipes go into that box? Laying on top of that box there. See that?
Right, but if you look at that, it only looks like they're like 6 feet long.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So just...
I mean, you know, helicopter blades are usually quite a lot larger than that, and I don't know.
Again, we don't know.
I like to question everything, Matrixx. I'm sorry.
Well, you know, that makes you a conspiracy theorist if you don't...
I know, I sure am.
You can't
I'll have to wear that one.
Shouldn't be a conspiracy theorist. Now, this is the helicopter pilot. Here we are. This is from the mirror.uk.co.uk. New York helicopter crash. First pictures... pilot killed in skyscraper wreckage. Timothy McCormick, 58, was flying the aircraft when it slammed into the roof of a 51-story they spell story funny there, I think, skyscraper in Manhattan, New York, U.S. on Monday. Tim McCormick has been identified as the pilot who died in the crash, and there he is with some funky glasses on.
Don't you think it's kind of interesting? I mean, just open-ended question. Don't you think it's kind of interesting that he crashed the helicopter on the top of the building?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's like you're thinking the helicopter is going down, it's malfunctioning, there's something wrong, you're trying to save it. What are the chances that you land on top of the building and not hit the side of it or divert into the street or... You know.
Well, so, you know, looked into it a little bit too. When a helicopter does a downward motion like that, it's if there's engine problems, and that gets the rotors to go ahead and turn for you so you can make an emergency landing. So there's some things that we do have to take into consideration as we are just looking at it now, but some things could happen in the future. But what is this 8/21/17 on his hat? You know, I want to find that out. So I just noticed that today. So there's some digging. Joy, thank you. You guys are awesome.
It seems like somebody might have been inadvertently contracted to sneak in and sneak somebody out, and that plan didn't work so good.
And we need to find out who Tim McCormick is. So we need to dig into him. So that's a lot of stuff here. This is a picture of the building right here with the fire, you know, with the crash, you know, fire in the building. It's a 54-story. It's the AXA building in Midtown Manhattan. Here Tim is right here. He's in Unit 38 East, and it says Clinton on his shirt. I just can't make this stuff up, guys. I mean, I'm showing this to you guys and kind of looking at it, and I see Clinton on his shirt. I don't know.
I mean,
Bill.
that's what I saw yesterday. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. They're putting up the picture and they're like, Clinton, what?
Yeah, I know. Tim was
The
dedicated.
official East Clinton volunteer.
He was highly trained, extremely well-trained firefighter. His technical knowledge and, ability to command, exceptional. Very good comments about Mr. McCormick, and, rest in peace, my friend. Obviously not fun. But Tim earned his commercial pilot's license in 2004 as well.
He just happened to land on the top of the building that Michelle Obama company he used to work for in New York. Nothing to see here.
What are you
trying
trying to say?
Keep on moving, Bill. If you stop and start talking to them, they'll start suspecting you. Move on, Bill.
Nothing to see here, guys. Move along.
There you go.
Move
there you
along.
go.
Move
Tell them,
along.
Bill. They'll listen to you.
So there he is. I mean, there was no. It was believed the pilot was flying without passengers as well. So that's mainstream news. That's what they're saying. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna check that out because what do Anons do, Shady?
Anons know, and Anons dig.
We dig. Exactly correct. Can you dig it?
We can dig it.
All right. So there's some interesting stuff here. Now, again, just, something I missed a while ago. This is in regards to your, the trust the plan thread and the PaySource. Executive Order 13863 of March 15, 2019, taking additional steps to address the national emergency with respect to significant transnational criminal organizations.
You don't say.
And then we got this right after POTUS comes back from Japan. Canon and Toshiba each fined $2.5 million in U.S. antitrust violations. Hunting
Future
makes me
proofs
happy.
past?
Hunting makes me happy. Antitrust.
I love hunting. I love antitrust news, Matrixx.
Boom. And look at that.
Any news that is referencing antitrust is is working towards and against the bloodlines, guys. They do not want anyone talking about this, and this is information that is finally reaching the general conversation about who these companies are, and they are not private companies that can just edit you. Think about it like your telephone service. What if your telephone service could just say you can't use the phone to call, or you can't use the phone if you're going to say this over the phone? That's what these companies are trying to say. We have this platform, and it's a private platform, and we can edit it, but it's open source, free for everyone to use. It doesn't. You don't get it both ways.
That's right. That's Canon and Toshiba. I mean,
amazing
you just can't
stuff.
make it up. And then we've got symbolism, #PaySource. Trump and Macron, symbolic friendship tree dies. French media says oak given by Macron and planted at the White House is no more.
Isn't that interesting? And wasn't this the tree that was planted the day Melania posted something? I'm trying to remember. It seemed like she posted her shoes were dirty or something from where she helped plant the tree. It was like a year ago that this happened.
Oh, look, here's Abdullah Alan Mayar. The PaySource thing is to distract us from the Rothschilds.
It is.
It is. Okay.
The PaySource are distracting us from the Rothschilds, Matrixx?
Right, yeah, because they own the central banks.
The Rothschilds were hiding the PaySource.
Yes, they are.
But if the Rothschilds are hiding the PaySource, how is this distracting?
Here we
us?
go. I know why. 4655 followers. 55Q. It's a troll.
Maybe you should. Maybe we should. Maybe we should not take his opinion on this. I'm just guessing.
Right. The oak
we did try to listen to him though, didn't we?
Yep. The oak croaked, says Janice Linton. Thank you, Janice. It sure did.
The oak croaked.
The oak croaked. And
5-5.
5 by 5 on that. And this was a symbolic gift. There was also some look at the yellow grass there.
There may or may not have been some salt poured in that hole.
Sulfur.
Some sulfur.
Right. You just can't make this stuff up, guys.
Hey, we're calling France. Can we get another tree? That one didn't work out.
Right. We need another tree because this one's not working. Maybe we can
take the Statue of Liberty home with you.
Maybe we can plant a cherry tree. For our country.
I'll leave that one.
All right. And then we've got, this was interesting too, G. Edward Griffin back in the 1943. Ready? By the way, G. Edward Griffin wrote The Creature from Jekyll Island.
That's right.
Very good book. The only thing that he didn't cover, he only covered up to the Rothschilds, essentially. He never went higher.
Well, there is also speculation, Matrixx, that some stuff was edited from this book, like pulled out of this book whenever he was actually writing it. But if you guys haven't paid a lot of attention, you can go back and see a lot of his stuff. And this guy will tell you things that plug right into your society today. This is interesting.
Right, here we go.
In 1943, the following directive was issued from party headquarters to all communists in the United States. It read, "When certain obstructionists become too irritating, label them after suitable buildups as fascist or Nazi or anti-Semitic, and use the prestige of anti-fascist and tolerance organizations to discredit them. In the public mind, constantly associate those who oppose us with those names which already have a bad smell. The association will, after enough repetition, become fact in the public mind."
That was very interesting. Obstructionism kind of sounded like a little bit of some Q-esque stuff there.
And the way that our politicians work, right? The system of government isn't working for you guys. It's working for the bureaucracy, just like Trump says. They're working for themselves, and they are taking all of the pie. And the president is working on showing you that the pie belongs to you. You have been giving it away for a long time. Start to recognize your power and start to pay attention to it and care about it again. Care about your government, because you can move them if you act. You can make them do what we want them to do. We are the people.
That's right. That's right. And we've got this too.
The documentary film you are about to see was shown to Mr. Alexander Kerensky, president of the Democratic Provisional Government of Russia, overthrown by the communists in 1917. Mr. Kerensky consented to make a few introductory remarks about our picture. We present 80-year-old Alexander Kerensky in his New York City apartment.
Let me just show you this real quick, guys, real quick.
Forces, Eastern Front between Germany and Russia, within the once proud Tsarist armies, corruption, hunger, and enormous casualties have taken their toll.
Reagan used to set out and do records and send them to the women's clubs so they could sit and listen to what the communism was all about, right? Let's see.
Halfway between communism and capitalism. Their target is us, our institutions, our religions, our families, our children. Karl Marx, who developed the basic theories of communism, was a sick man most of his life. Sick in body and spirit.
These people are sick.
He once said, "The capitalists will pay for my carbuncles." We have. Karl Marx believed that capitalism, as he saw it in the 19th century, was stagnating, beginning to decay, and that communism was predestined to replace it, starting with the highly industrialized nations like Germany. That was just one of his many mistakes. Actually, it took the misery, the disillusionment, and the slaughter of World War I to bring the first communist regime into power. Not in Germany, but where Marx least expected it, Russia.
So this is a very good documentary. I just dropped it in the chat. Check it out. Ronald Reagan has been in the know. G. Edward Griffin has been in the know. We've been warned, guys. We've all been warned about this stuff.
For years, man.
For years.
I mean, they were telling us, we saw where they were talking about this exact thing before the central bank was even implemented. In the late 1800s, the conversation was prevent them from implementing a central bank. But they were able to use the media system. They were able to pretend even the vote that levied an income tax against the American people wasn't really ratified by the Senate. All of these shenanigans happened because there was no ability to communicate. They could do these things without anyone knowing the wiser, and they've kind of kept that game going up until recently, until Q, right? Matrixxx, until us and Anons came along and now have the info, and now they're exposed on the underbelly side, but in the surface side, they're still trying to play the game. But now we all know.
Absolutely. So that's interesting. And, and moving on to Bill Maher. Now, what people don't realize about Bill Maher is his father was one of the original editors after the CFR, the Council on Foreign Relations, bought 25 newspapers to control what Americans talk about on a daily basis. Right, Mockingbird Media. So Bill Maher admits Hillary Clinton committed obstruction of justice in an email scandal. And what is the penalty for treason? And that is in a Bill Maher post, guys. Just recently, didn't we see that post about Hillary Clinton, right? Hillary has a Hollywood production. Now Hillary has a Hollywood production company. If it's anything like her hard drive, she should crush it. Congrats, you finally found a calling lower than running a pedophile ring out of a pizza parlor. So what's going on here, guys? These are very cryptic, interesting things happening. And he was on the Howard Stern show when he said that, right, Shady?
Well, yeah, and he's him and Stern have been fighting back and forth for decades, like literally at each other's throat, and now all of a sudden they're kind of being friends. And to me, you know what this says a little bit? This says, "Hey, can I make a deal? Hey, excuse me, I'd like to make a deal.
Yeah.
I'm helping you guys now."
That's right. That's right.
There's a little bit of that going on right here, and you're seeing it start to happen in other people as well.
Maher began praising former Barack Obama Hussein with having 2 successful terms in office without a whiff of a scandal, and knocked Republicans for their attempts to stir controversy. That's in a Q post too. Why do they keep saying there was no scandals? Because there were scandals. When people lie, they tell you what they're lying about. I mean, it's absolutely insane. Now, I really quick want to cover this too, because I thought it was very amazing. Alex Jones is actually having a meltdown right now.
Yes, he is.
And this actually was a clip from Roy. I think Captain Roy. I don't know if he's out there today in our chat, but this
might be an edited clip, wasn't it?
Well, this was edited out from what I understand.
Right.
Did Alex Jones threaten us? All of the Where We Go One, We Go All movement, and maybe particularly Dustin Nemos, okay? Q suggested AJ is a Mossad agent, not Russian. So here we go. AJ template was designed to attack, censor QAnon primary objective, and I've got all the AJ posts here, but let's go ahead and listen to this real quick. Guys, this is does have some language in it, so just be forewarned. There we go. Here we go.
I've got Matt Drudge on. I'm real. I relaunched the Patriot movement. I'm not bragging here. I'm just saying along comes the royalty of Q. And it just tells me that I'm this.
The royalty of Q. All right, that's good. I'm sorry.
Anti-American. And let me tell you, for a lot of generations, that's not what's been going on. We've been doing a lot of stuff, writing books and financing things and killing people for this country. My family's been killing people for 240 plus years for this country, brother. Killing people, doing a lot of dangerous stuff. And people come along that won't say who their name is and accuse me of being a goddamn Russian agent. I'll come after their ass. Do you understand that?
Certainly I understand threats, Alex. We've been...
Triggered, and here is all.
And look at what he's admitting, Matrixx. Look at what he just admitted.
Yeah, his family is CIA. This is all the Alex Jones posts too. Here we go.
But he's making it seem like they're killing people for the good.
Yeah. Ask yourself a simple logical question. Why are the majority of Q attackers by pro-MAGA supporters coming from AJ, Mossad-backed and or AJ known associates? Why are we a threat to them? Why not simply publish an original picture, +1, +2, plus or minus 1, 2, 3 seconds to establish credibility? Why was this done in the past? We knew this type of attack was coming. Predictable. Fake news. Attacks will only intensify, and they certainly have, Shady. They certainly have. Actors will act. We target NBC. NBC targets Q. Strategic. We are in control. All right, and then there's your Pasobic,
Well, I'm gonna insert here a little bit about the understanding of Alex Jones and who this guy really is, and the idea that Bill Cooper was murdered right after 9/11. Alex Jones was called out by him multiple times. You can go on YouTube and look at what Mr. Cooper said about him before. But what you're seeing right now with this is is truth coming to light. You're seeing the controllers being exposed and the loud ones really starting to act like what they are, which are clown operations that have been working against us, against you, and even against the president in the background. And they're becoming unhinged right now on all levels, whether it's Nadler, okay, up there, or Schiff, or Pelosi, or now we step down into the guards of the media, Bill Maher, and now look at Alex Jones, all of these different correspondents that are connected in the background somewhere out there, Bilderberg Group. Now they're starting to all act the same in front of you. That is direct comms to us from Q, talking about what Matrixxx is going over here. He's going to read another one, I think, about the connections to these guys and what they did whenever Q came along to try to insert themselves on Q, to assert what Q should do, and then to try to derail the information that was coming out. And Q immediately called them out and put a stop to it, and then all of a sudden they were stymied again. So we have worked with Q team to calm down, shut down this disinformation campaign that comes out of the Jones arena.
Once before, several years ago, and had to cut me off the air because of the foul language that I used. So on the air tonight, I'm going to tell you, Alex Jones, you are a bold-faced, miserable, stinking little coward liar. Now let me say that again so there's no mistake about it. You can all tell Alex Jones that I said this, and I suspect he's listening because he does. Alex Jones, you are a bold-faced, stinking, rotten little coward liar. I was only on the Alex Jones show one time. It was years ago, when I didn't know who he was, when I didn't realize what a liar and a coward and a sensationalist bullshit artist that he is. He was on one little FM station down in Texas. He wasn't on all the stuff that he's on now. And I agreed to be on his broadcast. That's when I was doing guest appearances on broadcasts, years ago. I was not cut off. I did not use any kind of foul language whatsoever. He treated me very well, and I stayed on for the whole show. Some of you in Texas know that that's true because you heard the broadcast and you taped it. Later, when I found out who Alex Jones was and what he was doing to the truth, and what a cowardly liar and sensationalist he really is, every time he called me after that, I have always refused to appear on his broadcast. Absolutely refused to lend him any credibility whatsoever by appearing on his broadcast. And that made him very angry. I've also revealed him for the lying sensationalist bullshit artist that he is by every once in a while bringing to your attention the lies and the deceit and the rumors that he spreads over the airwaves that are not good for any of us, and they're not good for the nation. They are especially not good for militia and patriots.
Now I don't really
know. The most
necessarily
disgusting broadcast he ever did was on New Year's Eve, the year 2000. The New Year's Eve, 1999, bringing in the year 2000, which he went completely out of his mind.
Yep, this is the Y2K stuff.
That Russia had launched intercontinental ballistic missiles with multiple warheads at the United States of America and actually panicked millions of people who were putting their children and their belongings in their cars and heading for the hills. Now, there's lots of things that can be said about me. Nobody needs to lie about me. Sometimes I am irritating. Sometimes I absolutely will not suffer fools and am just as rude as I can be. Nobody has to lie about me, Alex Jones. So I suggest that the next time somebody calls your broadcast and asks them about me, you tell the truth. There's lots of truth that you can tell about me. But don't ever lie on me, buddy. because I'll chop you off at your ankles. I will chew you up. I will spit you out for the lying, stinking, rotten little coward that you are.
Yeah. So basically, I just wanted to play a little bit of that. Bill Cooper was murdered by the deep state on his property. And he did predict 9/11 accurately.
Yes, he did.
He also was posted in a Q post with the pale. Behold a pale horse, talking about the MK Ultra, and he always said that the New World Order would always use the rose to signify that they have conquered and won. And when was the Parkland shooting on, Shady?
It was on Valentine's Day.
Okay, so they thought they had us on Valentine's Day, guys, but they didn't.
Yep. And this is that's so good. I'm glad you played that for everyone out there, because it does take me back a long time. This guy, this Alex Jones guy, he was probably the center of the whole Y2K hype thing. This guy was doom and gloom consistently all the time. And Bill Cooper was quite the opposite of that. Bill Cooper was trying to explain to people what was going on. He wasn't. He was what's the word? Aggrandizing or over accentuating or trying to make you afraid. He was trying to share information, a lot like what we're doing, Matrixxx. It's like the information felt very genuine and like, hey, I'm just trying to show you. I'm not trying to. It's not like fear porn here. I'm trying to explain something to you.
That's right. So because the truth is learned, it's never told. He gets you thinking. It's called The Hour of the Time, guys. If you guys want to go back and watch some Bill Cooper, I highly suggest you do, for your own edification and understanding. It's absolutely amazing. And by the way, we're going to be speaking where Bill Cooper spoke once too. So I am very honored. Also, I want to also tell you this. Remember Alex Jones using the Matrixxx colors.
And he started doing this recently.
QAnon. I've talked to QAnon. There's only about 5-6 people that have actually been posting. I've talked to QAnon, and they're saying QAnon is no longer QAnon. So, Dr. Corsi, tell us about your angle on this. With people that have been involved in QAnon, they say, hey, that's been taken over. We're unable to post anymore. That's not us anymore. And then Corsi was right on the same line 2 days ago in private conversations we had, saying, I've talked to QAnon. So tell me, how could you do it again? I've talked to QAnon. Your mouth runs away like your tongue's on fire. You just couldn't let it I've talked to QAnon. You sell it so well, but you just don't know.
Little fun there. That's Chatty Doo, QAnon. I also did this thread here. I was kind of showing you a little bit of this about basically connecting everybody from Mossad to Alex Jones to MAGA Coalition to even some of the lower level trolls that we're talking about today, including Mike Rothschild, Will Summer, 0 Hour, you name it. They're all involved. Okay.
The people attacking Q's board on the chans.
They're the ones that are attacking Q's boards on the chans. They're attacking QAnon people as well. They use, troll bots and whatnot. But what happens if Mueller proves that Free Speech Systems LLC, aka InfoWars, is linked to a foreign intel agency or non-domestic entity? How can the left use that information to divide and censor the right? Who is pulling the strings for Free Speech Systems LLC? All right. And note, to AJ Shills, nobody hacks a site and brings it down, but publishes a useful, informative redirect page. It's obvious that this was a staged attack. Why? Actors will act, right? And we've got, this too. Ask yourself a simple and logical questions. Why are a majority of Q attacks by pro-MAGA supporters coming from AJ Moss-backed, not Russian troll, AJ, and or AJ Associates? Why are we a threat to them? Why not simply publish original pictures? Think Mueller, who is testifying before Mueller tomorrow. And apparently that would have been Jerome Corsi, right? What happens? What happens if Mueller report proves Free Speech Systems is linked to a foreign intel agency, guys? What happens? What happens? Reconcile. Attempts to deceive autists, anons will fail. We are a threat to their livelihood plus classification. Do not let their attempts corrupt good organization. Think OANN. Who's at OANN now? Jack Posobiec. They want you divided. Stay strong, stay together. Division keeps them in power, guys. Okay. This is Dustin Nemos, Breadbox, I think, did this video to show you how chat logs from Discord, chat logs, can be edited. Okay. And we actually even have the edits here, showing that it's September 8, 2017. So it's basically just ridiculous. All of their claims were absolutely ridiculous. So that's the thread there, guys, if you want to check it out. Here is Jerome Corsi right there. Mossad.
And who are we saving for last?
Who are we saving for last? Israel. Yeah, we're saving Israel for last for a very specific reason.
There's a very specific reason that we're saving Israel for last, guys. And, uncovering that is going to happen. It's going to need to happen slowly. But the control mechanism that is in place over your system of everything has links back to bloodline controls. Okay. All of it.
Right.
And history is not what they told you.
Well, and that's going to be the future proves past, right?
Yes,
so,
that's right.
There was a time on a show when, and I'm trying to find it, but I can't really find it right now. But there was a time on the show where Corsi was speaking, and a Mossad agent texted Jerome Corsi while they were speaking. So there is connections there. I mean, more than just that. Obviously, Gorka, MAGA Coalition. Here's everybody in here. If you look at, there's one of the attack trolls. This is, MAGA Coalition coming after me. It's just very interesting. And we also have another video where we see 0 Hour. We see, Doug Smith, everybody in a room. So anyways, very interesting stuff. And remember this, there is a problem according to the Clintons, and it's the top 200 list. I think I'm in her head. Literally. And we are the top 200 because we're all on it, guys. And this is the problem. That's us. An analysis conducted by Politico for Guardian AI found evidence that a relatively small cluster of accounts and broader group of accounts that amplify them drove a disproportionate amount of Twitter conversation about the four candidates over a 30-day record day period. So solutions to the Clinton was the illusion of choice, right? The Telecommunications Act of 1996. And also where they can say, hey, we can do propaganda. And this is Hillary's Twitter account. Again, I want to show you this again. This is where that article comes from. Okay? And in that article is this. And here we are. Here we are. Okay. Right. So I just wanted to let you know that, is that possible why this happened?
Who claims that 9/11.
Here we go.
It's also what happens when you listen to the radio host, Alex Jones, who claims that 9/11 and the Oklahoma City bombings were inside jobs. He even said, and this really just is so disgusting, he even said the victims of the Sandy Hook massacre were child actors and no one was actually killed there. I don't know what happens in somebody's mind or how dark their heart must be to say things like that. But
so just interesting. So comment here by Pigeonberry. I would like Alex to answer this question. Is there a connection in that 2017 Roger Stone was working for Nexium and at the same time a lawyer to the Bronfman family set up Free Speech Systems LLC? Coincidence? Alex basically, this person says, Alex recently said that he wished he had never met Roger Stone. And there's Shady's tweet with some of these things in a Q post. And he noticed something very interesting, 12 spaces. Right? Interesting.
So it is interesting. And I just want to paint the picture of what you just saw her saying and now realize that more than likely we have evidence of her and Alex Jones communicating in the background like they've been communicating in the background for decades. Okay, controlled opposition, hashtag controlled opposition. They have been running a game on the conspiracy world and misinformation. You've never heard Alex Jones talk about a trust. You never heard Alex Jones talk about the PaySur. You never hardly ever hear him talk about the bloodlines, the money, the control of the system, how it actually works. It's very easy to explain these things. I go over them on the Q Lounge almost every time. These things are not hard to explain. You can explain them easy, simply, without a lot of words. These people can't do it. And you have this guy thrown into some sort of elevated because he was able to get into Bohemian Grove and film their whole cremation of care ceremony. But how about he was instructed to create a show for you so they could show you what they're doing to you to mock you more. Okay, more so than, I'm going to inform you about what they're doing, because he didn't actually break down what the cremation and care ceremony is, what it means, what the figure of Moloch means, how this connects to Satanism, how this connects to child trafficking, pedophilia, all of these other different nefarious things. None of that was really broken down in any of this. All just a show. Cooperative, controlled opposition. Keep everybody away from looking at the truth. The truth is what? The money, the PaySurs, the assets, the instruments, the contracts. You as a slave in the state. That is what they're distracting you from.
Yeah, and that's exactly true. I mean, so we're just here. And, it's funny because I, along with Dustin Nemos, was a fan of Alex Jones for 15 years, give or take. And it's pretty interesting. So just want to let you know that, I just wanted to show you guys that again. And by the way, Bohemian Grove is in the news again as well.
Yes, it is.
The AP, right? They did a thing about them, an article about the Bohemian Grove. So very interesting, kind of interesting how he's, able to do that, right? So, again, we just need to make sure that you and I, everybody here and our families and people that we know and love, vote for Donald J. Trump and Trump people, all right, for elections. And with that, I want to just kind of flip it back over to JT Wild. Here we go. Where we go one, we go all, folks. No doubt about it. JT Wild.
Deplorable, and we love the name. Got the bodies in the dirt, needing someone to blame. A bunch of greed and money to spare. They put the dollars in the coffers and the lies in the air. Where we go one, we go all. I won't push you down, you won't let me fall. One day for sure we will stand tall. Where we go one, we go all. We are the Patriots. We trust the plan because we have it all, and that fate is in our hands. Had a reason to fool us, but we didn't take the bait. Wanna take us to hell, but we got guns at the gate. Where we go one, we go all. I won't push you down, you won't let me fall. One day for sure we will stand tall. Where we go one.
JT Wild, the Matrixxx Groove Hour intro of Where We Go, One We Go. Some, Shady? Or all?
No, not where we go some.
Is it all?
No, it's all, not some.
It's all. Okay, guys.
You got it right.
We got it right.
We go all.
We go all, everybody. Where we go one, we go all. And
worldwide.
With that, worldwide, absolutely. We've got worldwide anons in here right now today. We've got worldwide anons, 126 countries and growing, coming to intheMatrixxx with 3x's.com. If you guys, below this video right now, if you guys want to buy us a cup of coffee, we got a Patreon every month. Just buy us a cup of coffee, whatever you want to do. If you enjoy the show, we do have a PayPal underneath in the video description. We have a Teespring store with some Q Army social network stuff. We've got Q posts. We've got everything, Shady. And with that, we've got the outro pick out, Shady, with The Narrative Has You, guys. Let's break out of this Matrix, Shady.
The narrative has them, but it doesn't have them for long. We're going to jump out of here. We're going to squeeze down into a tiny molecule and get through the phone. We're going to be back tomorrow at the same bad time, same bad channel. Matrixxx, I want to just say a real quick thanks to you for everything that you do on this wall. Thanks to all the Patriots and Anons and everything that you bring to this conversation. It would not happen without you. It would not happen without all of us working together. And that's what it means. We're here to show you the truth. And we're here to let you decide for yourself. That is the reason that we are here. That's the reason we exist. And that is what we love so much about this president and about this operation, to share the truth with the world, because light brings truth, brings freedom, guys. And that is the mission here. So with that, Matrixxx, I'm going to squeeze down right before you. I'm going in first today, brother.
All right,
you go get them, man.
All right, and guys, thank you very much. Remember, what makes a movie good? It's everything. It's memorable characters, originality, interesting visuals, not just booms, interesting dialogue, interesting audio, relatable story, good pacing, good writing, protagonist, antagonist, which we have to have, interesting conflict, which we have here in this movement, but stuff that makes you think and blows your mind, because the truth is learned. It's never told. And with that, much love to you all. intheMatrixxx at 3x's.com. At Shady Groove with 3O's.com, at intheMatrixxx at 3x's.com on Twitter. Both of those accounts there, 3X's and 3O's. Lots of hugs and kisses for our Anons and Patriots. It doesn't matter, man. We hug here. We love you guys. Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern on YouTube /C/intheMatrixxx with 3X's. Be here every day. And don't worry, the show will replay. Same link. And don't forget, Q Lounge Live this Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern. See you guys tomorrow. Peace out.